Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome back to the stream. On a Tuesday, Digi? Yes, on a Tuesday. It is I, Digi Driver. We're back in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And we're staring into the blackness that is the failed images of the loading screen. Msfs loading. The final frontier. But yeah, hello everybody. Howdy. Happy Tuesday to you, or Wednesday if you're overseas. I'm just waiting for the sim to load. And then it'll be time for us to get cracking on Plymouth Municipal Airport once again. I do kind of wish it was possible to see the loading screen again, but it's like only like 1 out of 10 times now. I don't know. But there we are. Welcome back to Msfs, everybody. Let's go to Plymouth and get to work. We got time to burn and parking spots to build. So, where am I going to put the plane today? I guess it can technically be anywhere because we're going to be essentially loading the scenery in. Oh, yeah, hold on. Now that I can adjust my volume again. That's probably a bit better. We have the parking spot. Do we have it chosen? Yes, we do. Alright, let's pull it back to about midday. We have AI traffic. I'll switch it back to live traffic, really. We might change it later. Let's load it. So for those of you joining me for the first time or who don't know, I used to stream flight sim flights a lot until I kind of burnt out on that at the beginning of this year. I took a little break and decided I wanted to actually make scenery, which is what we'll be doing tonight. And if all goes well, this is probably one of the only times you'll see me inside a cockpit on tonight's stream. So let's load in Plymouth Municipal. It takes a few seconds to a little bit less than a minute. I guess it depends on how many assets you've loaded into the scenery. And then we have the big change in elevation. And now we're loaded in. Okay, so we have a bunch of parking spaces. We have essentially created the entire north parking area. Also, last night, I added a couple of service spots. I'm probably going to try to create some custom hangars at some point, just not tonight. Or if I do, that'll be one of the last things I do. But it'll be in Blender, so I'm probably going to fire that up. Maybe fire up some other music for it. I don't know. Lately, I've been doing streams with ambient sounds from the sim, so honestly, I probably need to turn the sim sounds back up. There we go. So, in a sense, we've kind of got Digi ASMR whenever I do scenery dev. Although the last few times I've been doing scenery development, I've been doing it quietly. No microphone, just late at night, myself and all these polygons and circles and parking spots so that I can get things set. We're going to try to do one of two things today. Either we're going to get started with this long row of parking spots, or we're going to go across the airport to what I would probably call east parking or southeast parking and build some parking spots here. We would do the same thing that we did up north, create the parking T spots, if you will, and then create the parking spaces, which you'll be able to select from the world map when you load into the airport. There were 30 spots, 32 with the extra 2 service spots across the way. I suspect there may be a little bit more than that here, probably like 40 to 60 spots by the time we're done. So I may stop building spots at a point so that I can kind of, refresh and then just maybe jump into Blender to pick up some development of Kissimmee, because I still want to work on the tower. I just have to decide what I'm going to do with the interior and how I'm going to design it. Because I think about a month ago we were working on the stairs for the tower, and I think I need to continue, I don't know, I need to figure something out with regards to how getting into the tower works and where people are going to
Final approach checklist complete.
Hey, Iowa Scotsman coming in with a tier 1 sub. Thank you for the 16 months, my friend. Welcome aboard. Iowa Scotsman, as some of you may or may not know, is a flight sim streamer as well, and I was catching a little bit of you flying last night. I was also bouncing back and forth between a few World Flight channels as well. And tonight I'm going to try to take it easy, do some scenery dev, and see where we are in maybe like an hour and see what's up. But let me go ahead and change my camera view so I know that my perspective is correct. And this is going to restrict me to just using the main slew commands. I think this is locked to a north orientation camera, and I won't be able to rotate the display, and it's going to make things a little bit tricky, but it's not going to be impossible to do. I'm also going to play around with time. You're going to see me start very early in the morning and keep the light levels down so that I can see with a bit more contrast where these spots are, so I can create the parking space markers. Essentially, we're going to do what we usually do, which is create groups to house all the things we create. And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to start with the apron, because that's what we need. So here we have, let's see, what are they? Oh, of course, the aprons are here. Here we have north parking spots, and now we're going to create probably south parking spots. So we'll lock it in aprons for now, make it default, click for one-click placing, click in, and this is how we're going to get started. The parking designators are going to be overemphasized. I'm not using projected mesh just yet, so these aren't going to be the same kind of crisp markers that you might be accustomed to in other sims. And I'm okay with that for right now, because I'm just trying to build up experience and understand what some really good rendering techniques are and which ones are no good, which ones suck. So it's literally just as much an experiment for me as it is you guys watching it. And we have one built. We're going to create a new group for this item, but first we're going to label it. So we're going to say, what do we have ones called? Okay, we're gonna call this South Parking T1. And we're going to move this into a separate group, and we're going to call it South Parking Spots. And essentially, the rest of the stream is probably going to get nice and boring. But if this is the kind of thing that you like listening to in the background while I sound my thoughts out, then you've come to the right place. So for properties, we're going to change the material. We're not going to use concrete. We're going to use a rough paint and move it into the surface. And if you see this disappear, just toggle your draw surface and it should pop back up. So we have T1. And what I'm probably going to do is create one group and then create another group and duplicate it really fast. And when I created one major group, I'm probably going to translate it down and down and down. And that way, once I get this group done, I should be able to create the rest of them fairly quickly. I'm going to experiment with a different technique for selecting things. It's tangled. I have been a busy boy. I am very glad to see you, and I hope that you and your family and friends are doing very well. And let me be the first to say Merry Christmas to you. Yes, I have been thinking about the Christmas holiday since a while, so this, for some people, it's like, wait, it's too early to say Merry Christmas. Not for me, it ain't. So, welcome aboard. Let's make a copy of this T space, and we are going to basically farm these out. I'm not expecting these to be lined up perfectly. They're going to look a little bit crooked. It's because I can't change the angle, but I definitely want to make sure that I don't mess with my perspective. So we're going to try to do the best we can and leave the rest of it to have an apron that covers up the material or the lack of precision placement. So we're going to label these as we go. E3 is the other spot, and now we are creating south parking spots in the south parking spots group. We're going to duplicate, and we're going to keep going. This one, as you might have guessed, is probably going to be parking spot 5. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate the support. Today we are working on Plymouth Municipal Airport. This is an airport in Plymouth, Massachusetts, which is about, I want to say, a good 45-minute drive outside of Boston. Yeah, I'd say like 45 minutes in traffic. And this airport is an airport that one of my other streaming friends, Eric Flight, likes to go to. By the way, have you been streaming lately? Because if you have, I'll tell my friends to go check out your channel and follow you. I try to spread the love wherever I can. Let's duplicate this. I really kind of want to set up a fast pattern for copying these spots. And again, at some point, I'm going to figure out how to make much more precise placement of parking triangles or parking T's, but this is not tonight. Tonight we're simply going to create the things, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, there's like one more spot. There's one more spot. So we're going to duplicate this one more time. And now my cat has finished eating his evening meal and now has proceeded to curl up on the bed and go to sleep for a bit, because it is the way of the feline. You get evening meal, you sit down, you snooze. Oh, definitely. I respect the grind in terms of getting your schoolwork done. It's exactly what you should be doing. Okay, so now we've got the even spots set. I'm tempted to grab all these and just rotate them, but something very weird happens when you do that. It just shrinks them down, and I can't have that. So we're going to grab this spot and we're going to duplicate it, and then we're going to use this for the outward facing spots, and we're going to basically call these the even spots. Nope, we're not going to scale it, we're going to rotate it. So let me see, what number do we want to use? It's probably going to be something like, oh, weird, that's strange, that number doesn't make sense. It does, but it doesn't. And essentially, that's probably going to be a good enough spot. Oh, congratulations on wanting to start your medical program. I'm sorry, medical program? On wanting to fly. I know you have to get your medical. Stream speak is a thing. Alright. This is spot T2. I'm a Terminator. Points if you got that reference. Okay, let's duplicate this again. The parking spot thing is working nicely, so I'm grateful to the Lord for that. And yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. These spots are very closely parked together. I think it's normally because very, 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 very small airplanes park here. But for some reason, MSFS's idea of small general aviation parking is sometimes Learjets and Challenger 300s. All good. I like a good meme as much as the next sim pilot. We'll take them. All right. But welcome aboard, everybody. Hope you're having a very good evening tonight. And again, I am working on Plymouth Municipal Airport. We are working on trying to get these parking spots made so that friends like Eric Flight can load into a more realistic airport. I will probably wind up making this into a payware project at some point. I'm debating whether or not I'm going to release an early access copy of it on flightsim.to, just as a way of getting a feeler out into the community, and then eventually releasing a bit more polished version of this on Sim Market so that I can, make some machuga. There we go. A Skycatcher or something usually parks there. So small aircraft like the Pipistrel or the Cessna 152, planes that basically have the amount of leg room and stuff of a Volkswagen Beetle, I would say. Okay, are these spots well enough so that I can actually duplicate all of them? I'm going to give it a shot. We're going to grab every single spot we've made so far. Oh, with the exception of this one. Okay, so we have, let me see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I forgot to get rid of the copy. All right. And there we go. Those are our first 9 parking spots for south parking. Now we're going to duplicate all of them. Poof. And we're going to move them into place down here. The idea is work smarter, Digi, not harder. If we can reduce the amount of time we have to spend moving individual pieces and just come up with a general layout, that works more nicely. So these are 9, these are going to be 9, these are going to be 9, these are going to be 9. So we're going to have 4 of these, 36 spots in total. I would almost dare put another spot here, but it's going to get in the way of the taxiway, so I'm not going to do that. Also, this kind of lines up with the business jet here, which works. But also, you can see the kind of thing that happens. Sometimes the business jets take up more than one spot. So it's okay, it's all right. So now we're going to rename all these and we're going to step through this. That's parking spot 10, this is going to be 11, and so on. But Digi, why are you taking all this time? Like, why, like, this is so boring. Unfortunately, you're right. Scenery development. It's one of those things that pays off once it's done. And for some people, the journey really is the reason why they get started. But it does take a while to create all the individual pieces that go towards creating your scenery. So I learned this over the past summer as I created, I think, 3 freeware airports, which are all on flightsim.to. And essentially, those lessons went into me creating Whiskey 904, which is a private airport in or outside of Williamsburg, Virginia, which I'm actually selling on Sim Market right now. So if you go there and you type in W94, you'll see Digi Scenery Studio if you're curious and you want to give it a go. I certainly appreciate your patronage, but the reason why I'm not even putting up a link is because I always like people making up their own minds about whether or not they want to go check something out. I might eventually create a Twitch bot, which is gonna, have occasional or timed announcements every like 5 minutes or something about the projects I'm working on or links. I'm also thinking about creating things like a Squarespace account, or not a Squarespace account per se, but something where I can actually have a separate website. And I was thinking about things like, what was I trying to say? I was thinking about things like, um, help me out. It's the thing where, like, you raise money to start a business. It's something that I've debated doing more and more. But the issue, of course, is I want to be fair to the people that actually can support me, and I also want to be fair to the people that can't support me. If you're here and you're just like hanging out and you offer, great company and funny conversation and memes and stuff like that, I appreciate that. I always like to tell people that if they just come in and say hello, that's a great way of, showing appreciation for the work and for everything that has to happen. You don't have to sub, you don't have to even cheer one bit if you don't want to. As long as you just say hello and just hang out here for a bit. You're always welcome um, to stop in, even to lurk. I appreciate the lurkers as well because that means I have viewers. So I remember many, many years ago, I would barely even have one or two people view my videos after I was done streaming. Oh, yes, GoFundMe. Thank you, my friend. GoFundMe. There's stuff like GoFundMe, Kickstarter. There's areas where you can sign up to do things like a Patreon account. There's another one that a friend of mine gave me, which I forgot about, but I would probably know the name if I checked my DMs. Let's see. Your town is a grass strip, which is a default airport, and simple enough for you to figure out. Believe me when I say this, you would be surprised. You would be surprised how easily you can get into scenery development. You would be surprised. I know for some people it's more like, oh, okay, that's nice, thanks. But for me, believe it or not, many, many years ago, when I was redacted years old, I was using a different sim and I was creating airports from scratch using the tools that they had. And even once upon a time, I was using code to write the code which actually created the airports, which is probably going to be way, way more time consuming than I want to actually do. But it's something that I've done before. Oh, let's see, that's 19, 20, 21, 22. Ah, there we go. That's where I goofed up. Yeah. Trying to keep my numbers. 23. And we'll get to 27 by the time we're done with all these. Should be 25. Oh, and I forgot about the copy words. Standby caller. Okay, and this should be 24? Yeah. This is 26. And that's 27. But I've done scenery development in the past, many years ago. It's just that I put it down and I tried to do a lot of flight sim streaming. And I was going up against, established heavyweights at the time, like Sheesh, John Fly, Catstrader, Chewy 94, a bunch of other people, Delta 213, and I made a lot of acquaintances and friends that way, but I wasn't gonna compete with them. I was streaming on a tablet PC with FSX, getting frame rates in the teens and the 20s. So it was not going to be me wowing people. I think I think maybe my persistence was what actually won the day. But I'll say this too. I miss a bunch of them. It wasn't that long ago that I could tune into Twitch and see Cat Strader doing a stream, or Brad M doing a stream, or John Fly doing streams during the week. And like one of those streamers said, sometimes in life you get to a point where the things that you are doing are not the things that you want to do anymore. You get to that spot. Oh, sheesh, Sim Caesar, hello. Although I think Sim Caesar really rose to prominence in around like 2020. I think he was streaming in 2019, but I forget. I think. Whatever the case may be, I just know that there were many people, many people that I used to tune into that either don't stream that much anymore or don't stream at all. And it's it's okay. It's okay to the extent that you you change your mind about things, and you get to a place where it's just like, oh, well, yeah, I'm not into that anymore, so I'm doing something else now. Like, some people do virtual trucking now instead of flying, or some people just don't stream on Twitch anymore at all, and they've moved on to something else. Maybe they've gone to culinary school, maybe they're overseas and they're going to be starting a new job, and streaming on social media is just not something that their job allows them to do. I think maybe that's one of the reasons I've stuck around, because I miss them, and I can kind of um, honor their the legacy that they've left in terms of the streaming community, because I am one of the folks that they've inspired to actually get started in the biz. And even if they're not around as much as they used to be, if they're not around at all, I still respect their story and that it encouraged me to get started. Oh, yes. I don't know if I ever caught a Canuck stream where he was actually doing trucking. I think I watched one or two of them, and many of our friends on here have done trucking streams at one point or another. Even I have. To be honest, I'm kind of due for one. But what was I going to say? Yeah, like we have our lanes. We have the things that we want to do, and some people look at that and they're like, yeah, I'm good. So they're done. And speaking of done, there we go. We have all those T markers set to designate parking spots. And now we have to do the work of building those parking spots. So this is where it gets really tedious. Why does it get tedious, Digi? Well, the reason why is because parking spots require a few things in the sim. Ideally, it would be nice if you um, built a parking spot that, what am I trying to say? If you were able to more easily build a parking spot, but you have to do a few things. It's not difficult to do. It just takes more time, like I said. And speaking of taking time, I'm going to go ahead and save and build just to make sure nothing's funky with the build. Sometimes it takes a while to build your scenery. In my case, it's not going to, because there's a lot of things that I haven't added to the scenery yet. And while I'm doing that, you've probably noticed a few things. First off, I haven't actually put down taxi textures or apron textures yet. The reason why I'm doing that is because if I'm relying on satellite imagery to see where I should place things, instead of putting down the rough materials first and then trying to figure out where those parking spots should go, the satellite imagery tells me, or gives me, a general idea of where things should go. If you ever find yourself wanting to build scenery, one of the things that I do when I get started is that I basically blow everything, or not everything, I blow as much as I can of the default airport away. I get rid of the runways, I get rid of the aprons, which are basically the ground textures. I get rid of the start positions. I get rid of roads and the built-in street lights. Because if it's on airport property, I'm probably going to be modeling it. So once I do that, you get this really kind of clean slate of knowing exactly where the individual roads are and whether or not you actually want to build those roads yourself, or um, maybe just leave them in there so that they're recognizable in the satellite imagery, but you're not going to be driving over them. You're just going to see them from the air or taxi by them as you go to a parking spot or as you get ready to depart. So, what was I looking at before? Oh, well, just the ground texture. But now what we need to do is we need to actually start deciding where we're going to put down start positions. So we're going to go to objects and we're going to pick taxiway parking. And we're going to pick ramp GA because we're not building a regional airport. Yes, it is true that you could have a regional airport with GA parking, just like you can have a major international airport that has GA parking. But this airport is most likely not going to house any kind of business jet bigger than, say, a G3 or a G4, because the airport's small, the runways are not that wide, and the infrastructure, the actual physical infrastructure at the airport is probably not built strongly enough to support very large, and by large I mean airliner-sized aircraft. So it's kind of like what you might have seen your folks do, or the thing that you do at home. If you have a paved driveway, you might have heard at one point whoever the contractor was tell you to pick between macadam or a certain different kind of paving material, and that's going to determine, for example, the weight limit that you'll be able to put on that surface and not have it be affected. So, you might see that some people's driveways are smoother than others. The build material kind of is different, is a different choice. I'm just saying it because this airport is small and it's probably not going to support very large aircraft at all. I mean, yeah, you can always have an airliner divert to an airport in an emergency, but you're probably not going to have any Airbus A319s or 318s land here, even though they're fairly small airliners, unless there's a really good reason why they should be. But back to the parking. We're going to add a GA parking spot, and you're going to notice that by default, the SDK that I'm using uses ramp GA medium. So you have to deliberately choose ramp GA small. Otherwise, depending on what you choose, you might have a very, very, very large aircraft show up. And believe it or not, you might actually have, like a CRJ spawn into one of those spots. And I'm talking about the CRJ like 500 or 700 if you don't watch yourself. I think at some point when I go back to fix the airport that I made in Canada, I'm probably going to review the parking spaces that I have as well. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's what I was thinking. It could and probably would damage pavement when landing. Okay, let me think. I need a taxiway point perpendicular to this start position. So we're going to grab this taxiway segment, and we're going to split the path, which essentially is going to make another point that I'll be able to move. Now, I kinda did this wrong. Let me undo that. I want to see what I can do. This is going to be a little bit tricky because, as you can see, this taxiway point is actually being drawn. Why is the taxiway point important? You're going to see in a few seconds. Now, for one, Sometimes you need to move things around a little bit more to achieve a desired result. But we need this taxiway point because this taxiway point is going to connect with this parking spot. Ooh. Now that's something even I wasn't thinking about, Tangled. With the exchange of rubber, if you will, when big airplanes touch down, that might actually cause what was that? What's that phrase I like using a lot? Well, it could cause reduced braking action, but it's probably not going to make things easy for anybody flying a GA plane if traction is any kind of a concern. That's actually a pretty interesting point. Okay, so remember what I said before? Make sure if you're going to use small parking spots that you have ramp GA small as your spot. Now, I suspect that the problems that I'm having with not every single spot being occupied have something to do with the radius of the parking spot and MSFS choosing the kind of aircraft that's going to spawn in. Now, I don't necessarily care that not every single parking spot is occupied, so it just might mean that different kinds of planes will spawn in different spots. But what am I trying to say? I think I'm going to experiment with this radius number at some point soon to see if it does influence the kinds of planes that spawn in, and if there's a minimum value after which you can't get anybody to spawn in. It might give you an error if it's too small, but I'm not going to mess around with it right now. I just want to make sure I make the parking spots quickly, or at least create enough of them for today's stream. So, if you're building this, we're going to go ahead and create a group to house this. We're going to say, let's see, south parking start positions. And now that we have that, we can pick this position. We can say south parking 1. It's a GA small. It's south parking, and it's number 1. You do have to watch your numbers, because if you have 2 spots with the same, I think, number information, with the same number, it's going to give you an error. Now, this is what I usually do. Now that we have a spot defined, we need to connect it to a main taxiway, to the taxiway network. So we pick a taxiway point, and then we go back to the group we created, we control left click, and then you see that spot in between the taxiway point and your parking space. Right click and say create path. Now, in one sense, if you do this by default with a painted taxiway, the taxiway path will draw automatically. You kind of want this to happen because then it's going to show you where your start position is in relationship to the drawing that you've already made. And in one sense, if you can fix it, or at least make it somewhat compatible, then you can remove the drawing from the taxiway line path and the planes will spawn in more or less where you want them to be. I might fix the other spots that I created before because I was way more, dark shot about building those. I just put the spots down, figured out where I thought I wanted the spaces to go, and left it at that. But now we have the path connected, and what we're going to do is we're going to pick this path, we're going to say remove the center line, and that automatically gets rid of the drawing, and we have a path that goes to the parking spot. And again, like we said, it doesn't matter that the line doesn't exist anymore because the AI logic will still be there. So let me save this, and now we can continue. And essentially what I could do is basically duplicate this spot again and again and again. Actually, I'm going to try that to see if I can save myself a little bit of time. It probably won't be much though. So now we have this spot, and this is a separate spot. But you know what? We're going to go ahead and undo that copy because In order for this to succeed, we're going to need taxiway points on this line, and we're going to need taxiway lines here, 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 and here. So we need to do that first. And essentially what we're going to do is split the taxiway path so that we actually have taxiway points to use. We split the path, and then essentially we move it for two things. We move it so that we can actually draw a line into the parking space, and we try to keep the taxiway painted line where those taxiway lights are. We try to, because we put them down and we want to keep them kind of like on the beam, and we're going to do that for every row. And we're going to change our object to taxiway point, and since we have this dot selected, we can say one-click placing, and we can start putting taxiway dots down. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to create one dot for each spot that is going to be parked. And if you want to make all these without having them be drawn, stop after the first segment gets made, remove the center line, reselect the last point, re-enable one-click placing, and that should be all you need. Don't worry about getting your line absolutely perfect. I still don't know how to do that myself. I'm approximating, just giving myself a rough idea of what these points should look like. And as a matter of fact, I just realized I didn't put enough of these dots down, because this taxiway is going to service these spots and these spots. And what I did before was that I built the parking spots and then added the invisible taxiway to match. Tonight I'm going opposite. And again, like I said, it doesn't matter if the line is not absolutely perfect. It might add a little bit of kind of like humanity, if you will, to the AI aircraft taxiing in or out. So this is just for the AI to use if it's going to have traffic that parks here. I don't know if you use AI traffic in the sim. I was using it to help me see where the planes were going to park. But again, I think the radius of the wingspan might also be an influence on the kinds of aircraft that park there. Again, we're going to be splitting this, but you know what? I might not need to. I might just pull this down a bit so that we actually put it kind of like in the midpoint. This line is going to be a good aid to me. Or not. Oh, wait. That's what's wrong. I was trying to move the taxiway path instead of the taxiway point. We are going to have to split it. It's okay, though. We split the path here, and now we have a taxiway point that we can use. Also, I can fix the path in relationship to those taxiway lights, and now I can move this down exactly where I want it to be, or pretty close. Okay, and again, since I have the taxiway point selected, I can do one-click placing, make my first point. It's going to draw the line. I want to stop, pick the path, and remove the center line. Then reselect my taxiway point, select one-click placing, and we're back at it. This row is a bit more forgiving because I have this kind of almost, I had a line at one point, and I guess it's faded out. I don't know how old the GA macadam is, for lack of a better phrase. but I know enough that it's kind of giving me an idea of where to put these dots down. And essentially, that's what's up. Somebody might be thinking, man, this is like ultra boring. Well, you're kind of right. People that create scenery for a living, or even people that just design scenery for fun, they have to tackle stuff like this. This is not a very glamorous bit at all. We're essentially creating the functionality which is going to power planes spawning in, or AI knowing where to go, or even the ground surface traffic knowing where to go to be next to your plane, or to spawn, like to push you back. And it does take some doing. Thank you. I mean, it's nice to do as well. I do like doing this because, number one, it's my way of giving back to the community, and number two, it's kind of like, I might be dating myself here, but I used to put puzzles together with my family, like the 500-piece puzzles you used to get in a box that you used to, oh, I don't know, put all the pieces out on the table and then get started building them. This is kind of the same thing, except you're creating airports. And the thing about these airports is, even though Asobo did an amazing job of creating this algorithm that allows you to fly around the world and land somewhere with relatively not too dissimilar airport layout, you can only
Good
do so
evening,
much
ma'am.
before.
How are you? I'm doing good.
Blue Mana Battery. Hello, my friend. Thanks for stopping in. I've seen you around the interwebs. I appreciate the follow. Welcome to the Digi fam. You're catching me as I am building scenery for Plymouth Municipal Airport in Massachusetts. It's about 45 minutes south of Boston, southeast of Boston. And I am building parking spots right now. God bless you as well, Tangled. Thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate the company. Thank you, Blue Matter Battery. I am building GA ramp parking spots, and essentially I am telling the computer where to go by creating a taxi path. These taxiway points are going to be used to connect each of those taxiway parking spots to one of the points, so that the AI traffic and the airplanes themselves, should you decide to load them up with parked airplanes or AI traffic, will actually go somewhere. Now, where are those taxiway paths going to? I might change where the paths are, but I don't necessarily care about that right now. Actually, speaking of which, I might want to clean up my my organization just now. We're going to create south parking spots because we have north parking taxi connector paths, so we're going to create a new group. We're going to call this south parking taxi connector paths, because we need a place to easily reference those. And that's one of the south parking positions, so that's one of the groups. And now we have taxiways, which include, I believe, things like this. So let's see, is that under taxiways? Yes, it is. Good. Hello, Aeroflyer. Good to see you, my friend. I'm back at it again, making more scenery, or rather, going further on my scenery project, and we are working on Plymouth Municipal Airport. I need to build the infrastructure, or the network, which is going to let me add parking spots So we're going to split this right here, and we're going to move the taxiway line up to about here. It's going to be closer to the edge than normal because we need the AI to have enough room to move around. So to that end, I'm not going to move this too far up. We're just going to move it up a little bit, like say here. Even here. That should be fine. And the lights for the taxiway are still in fairly good position. So let's go ahead and put in a taxiway point. Actually, you know what? Stand by. I want to move this down some more. That's better. These points are going to connect to taxi parking spots, like that one. And we're going to do centerline, removal, and I can go back to the point and add more. Actually, I need to drink some water. I will finish these points, stretch my legs for a few minutes, and then there we go. So now we have some more taxiway parking spots, paths rendered. And I'm going to move this down just a touch. And there we go. That should do it fine. And I'm going to click on save. And just like that, we've built the network which is going to connect those spots or allow me to create spots which are connected to taxiways, which means now these planes will be able to spawn in or park somewhere. I still need to make spots for these top ones. So we'll do that, but we're going to do that in just a bit. Give me a bit, folks. I'm going to stretch my legs, drink some water, make sure that I'm good, tip-top shape here, and I'm going to come right back. So stick around. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am back. That was my attempt at an Obsidian impersonation. That channel on YouTube that has very nice narration and talks about flight sim things. Don't mind me. I like watching that channel. I haven't watched it that much lately because I think I've just been very busy bouncing back and forth between IRL things. Some of you know I'm a software developer in real life as my day job, and it's been pretty busy the past like 3 months straight. I think we're finally beginning to um, hit a stretch where people aren't going to be doing too much. I mean, I don't know. That could be the case. It could turn around and we have a whole bunch of stuff to catch up on. We do have a whole bunch of stuff to catch up on. That much I know. But the kind of work that I'd be doing for the next month and a half will hopefully be a bit more maintenance level and not just like thinking crazy complicated things up to do. But we're back. Let me go ahead and do I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna go ahead and experiment with the radius of these. I'm not gonna put this to 6 meters because that would only be 18 feet. I'm gonna put this to 8 meters, and I'm going to see if this is going to impact the kinds of aircraft you can get. Well, okay, for a start, it's making a different selection when I pick different sizes. Was I actually struggling against the stream with the other parking spots up north? Dude. Well, there we go, chat. You saw it here first. Digi goofed. But the kind of goof that Digi made is actually interesting. So radius is probably the SDK's way of saying wingspan. And 8 meters is probably somewhere upwards of 24 feet. So if I keep it 7 or maybe even 6 meters and smaller, then what's going to happen is the sim will know what kinds of aircraft to spawn in. Now, the parking position changed. So, because of the reduced wingspan, the circle got smaller. I'm going to try something. We're going to go ahead and reduce this to maybe like 5 or maybe even 4 to see if we can keep these circles from intersecting with each other. If we can do that, then that probably means that we will be able to create parking areas where more GA aircraft spawn in. Chat, I think we found it. I think we've actually found it. Praise the Lord. So, that is the new parking spot algorithm method. There we go. So we got rid of this thing again, and we do need to make more split spots, but we're looking at taxiway paths, not taxiway points. And we're going to manipulate time again because I like it when it's darker. And that's it. It's easier to see this now that I actually have the ability to do so. So, we're going to split the path until we have enough dots for each of the things that we're going to be using. As you can see, it does influence the yellow taxi line that I've created just using the default taxi path. And that's okay, I guess, but I want to get to a point where this is it's easier to maintain. Or maybe at the same time, maybe it's actually good that I'm using the default taxiway generator to make this point, so that I see whether or not anything that I create is going to influence the taxiway. Yeah, it's an interesting night tonight. Interesting night indeed. I want to grab the blue line and split it again. Again. Each of these triangles, I want to say triangles, but it's just T-points. Each of these T-points requires a point to connect to. Alright, we're going to grab that taxiway path again. We're going to split it again. We're going to do that just one more. Actually, you know what? I think we might be fine. I think we actually might be okay. So we have that, and then this one. Yeah, I think we're actually good. So we're going to create them, and we're going to get cracking here. So move this. Oh no, you can keep it there. We're going to duplicate this, and we're going to try to move as quickly as we can. The beauty of having taxiway parking positions that are this small is probably that I won't have to guess too hard about where the center should be. But I'll use the infrastructure, the drawn lines to help me confirm that. South parking 2 is small, 5 meters. Yeah, number 2. Notice how the error went away when I did that? That's because they both have the same parking spot number. You can't have that. So we have that. We're going to pick the taxiway point. We're going to go back up, and we're going to pick South Parking 2. Right-click, create path, done. Now, just to understand, we're going to recreate the center line, and as you can tell, the T is almost precisely where we want it to be. We might move it just a touch, but I think also a little bit of imperfection is actually what I want, because it's like people parking in real life. Not everybody parks perfectly on the parking spot designator all the time at the same time. So if it's a little bit off, if it's not quite perfectly on the T, that's fine, because that's exactly what happens in real life. Exactly. Alright, so move these taxiway parking spots and guides in as we go. And again, it's what we do.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you? I'm doing good.
Hawk, my friend, thank you for the follow. Welcome aboard. Good to see you. That's a good point. My Harley taxi on the line. Yeah, guilty as charged. Hogs 1326, so good to see you. My friends, if you haven't already done so, please take a moment, go pay show some love to my friend Hogs 1326, who also streams as well. Thank you. It's a privilege just to have you here, my friend. You join me as I am working on KPYM, Plymouth Municipal Airport. My friend Eric Flight told me that nobody has done an airport for KPYM, and he's wondered for a while whether anybody would. So I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that. And then I got sassy, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and speedrun an airport, thinking that I could actually build an entire airport in like a 5 or 6 hour stream. Short story, I didn't. Yep, PYM. So that's exactly what I'm working on right now. And we're going to pick this position, and we're going to change it. This is South Parking 2. This needs to be South Parking 3. And we need to change that number. Oh, excuse me. Oops, I got rid of it. It's okay. We're going to duplicate it again. And we're going to put it here. And now we're going to do this again. We're going to say South Parking 3. We're going to change the number from 2 to 3. That gets rid of the error. It's small GA parking and South Parking. And we're going to connect it to that taxiway point way up there. Oh, I'll I'll do more. I'll do more to get these parking spots made during the week. Trust. It's just that, we're having fun streaming together. So I'm doing more talking than
Final approach checklist complete.
um what? Hawks coming in with a tier 1 sub, my friend. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Thank you. I was going to make a mention about something with regards to Digi Scenery Studio, because I am officially a scenery studio now. But thank you for the subscription. You learned the hard way. Okay, folks, stand by. Just want to check something really quick. Gotta step away from the desk for a moment. I'll be right back. Hello, I am back. Two-Face Disc, hello, my friend. Welcome to the stream. Folks, again, if you're not doing so, I would recommend you go check out Two-Face Disc's channel, doing flight sim content, DCS content, and other variety content as well. A great person to sit and watch and see the adventures that he does. He has played, he's I think on his second campaign that I've watched him fly in DCS, and unless you missed it, Two-Face Disc is also one of the individuals spearheading brand new content for DCS, a mission campaign that's, I don't know, about as ambitious as the last military movie that I've seen, maybe even a touch better. So, go check out Two-Face Disc if you haven't done so already. He's definitely got my stamp of approval. That's fast. My cats are running around like crazy right now. That's fine. And I am building parking spots for KBYM. Two-Face, seriously, it's been a privilege to hang and to see some of the things that you've been up to. Hear some of the things you've been up to. Like I look forward to hearing a bit more about it. Yeah, do me a favor, Two-Face Disc, Feel free to drop a link to the video that you've released of your recent work because I want people to see it if anybody here flies DCS and they're looking for a new campaign that's going to be coming out soon. So feel free to drop that link in chat. Okay, this needs to be a new parking spot. Hello, Digi, come on. There we go. South parking 4. And now we're going to tie it to this taxi line. All right. There we go. Right click on that dot, say create path, and blammo. Oh, there we go. Folks, feel free to go check that out. No joke. That is it. I watched it and I was fairly blown away. So I gotta make like 4 or 5 more of these, and then we're gonna experiment. We're gonna load this up in the sim, and we're gonna see what it looks like. For a test like this, I'm not gonna have to wait too long. I should be able to jump out and jump back in. It might mess with some things, but I haven't gotten much rendered, so I'm not worried about it. Again, duplicate the spot, move it into place. These small parking spots are gonna come in really handy because it's gonna allow me to move really fast. Unlike today where I'm talking a lot. Ha ha ha. Yeah, okay. We are working on Kilo Papa Yankee Mike. This is Plymouth Municipal Airport, about 40 to 45 minutes south of Boston. And it's one of the airports that one of our other streaming buddies, Eric Flight, likes to fly into and out of, probably because it could be a hometown airport, and I want to pay it the attention and respect that it deserves. So let's go ahead and map this spot as well. This is like the non-glamorous work, you know, like just making sure everything's connected, yada yada yada, and then bam. But you might notice as you keep doing stuff like this, it becomes easier and easier to note what you're doing and where you're connecting things to. So 4 more parking spots, and I might take a moment to talk with you guys some more. And let's go ahead and make this spot 2. This is parking spot 6. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Again, this is kind of self-explanatory at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the fast forward button a little bit. And grab the spot, create the path, and again, we're just going to be cranking these things out a bit faster each time. Same thing. Let's go ahead and do that. And okay, one thing I need. Oh yeah, I do need an extra spot. Okay, at that point, I should be able to actually map it. I can move it a little bit so it looks a little neater, which is probably what I want to do. Okay, that should be good enough. Spot 7. Get rid of the line. Okay, so y'all have some weather out west, I see. All right. Pardon my Temporary change of focus. 2 more spots to go for this line. This is kind of cool. This is kind of cool. All right. This spot hooks up here. Bam. And last spot. Duplicate. Move. I know. Utterly challenging. But let's go ahead and connect it to this dot. That should be all I need to do. And then the first row will be done. Path created. Let's get rid of that painted line. And bam. Okay. Thanks for the compliment on the airport and my puns. Okay, so great. I think this is going to make me rethink the way that the other parking spots work, because you'll notice none of these circles actually roll over each other, whereas up north, these are all what I would call GA medium spots. Now, it's not that I don't want business jets here, but I think I'm going to have to adjust all these to be smaller so that none of these actually overrun. So, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to redraw the center line so I can see where all these parking spots go. And you'll pardon me if I don't take a few seconds to adjust them all to more or less be where I want them to be. Again, the point is that we're not shooting for perfection. The point is we want to make these parking spots be more realistic, and they need to function. I want a bunch of GA aircraft to spawn in. Unfortunately, I think they both need to be at 5. Everything needs to be at 5 for the kind of parking spots that I'm hoping to have absolutely jam-packed with aircraft. So, we're going to take a look at this parking spot, move it into place, and bam! Yep, I think the number that we're looking for is 5 for parking spot width in tight situations. Okay, so let's repaint the parking path because I want to see where that dot is. That's perfect. That's exactly where I want it to be. Actually, as a matter of fact, now that I understand the way that these work, I know exactly where to put these so that they actually fit. So, at least with these parking spots, it's going to be a lot easier for you to make the visual adjustment and make it faster. I'll do this row first. I forgot. Either I forgot or I just wasn't paying attention when I noticed that the size, the categorization of the parking spot is based on the size of the radius, or what's most likely the wingspan of the aircraft. Quite possibly boring work if you don't like doing this on a repeated basis, but for a dude like myself, this just kind of takes my non-software developer-y box and just makes me kind of chill. I would hope to release this airport before this year is out. I would hope to. I really would. So, fortunately, it is starting to get easier to move around because I know what I'm shooting for.
So good.
And that is it. Got 3 more to go. Come on, ditch. this one and one more. And I think this is going to influence the way that the GA aircrafts spawn in, which was kind of what I wanted to have happen from the beginning, but I didn't know what I was doing at first. And this is why sometimes just learning a bit more helps. I know, it's nuts. It's utterly crazy. So
This way.
all right, let's do this. Let's take a little bit of a break. I'm going to close the project. I'm going to go back to the main menu, and you're going to see a little bit of a cheat that developers like me can do to check and see how the airport looks without having to exit the sim and load it into the community folder and come back. This also explains why I had difficulty rendering airports in the past. Notice, the world map is already using the layout that I had for parking. Also notice, we have new parking spots. Bingo. So we are good. Let's go ahead and pick I think I'm gonna pick one of these, and I'm gonna see whether or not we can fill up those parking spots up front. Also, we're gonna pick AI, and we're gonna make sure that we have AI parking turned on. So here we go. Music does not get old for me. Not all the time, unless of course I'm waiting like over 10 minutes to load an airliner inside. Folks, can you believe that it's been over 2 years with Msfs? It's kind of nuts. Oh, and of course, I haven't put aprons down for ground texturing, so you're going to see grass. That's fine. Pretend it's a broken down airport. All right. Now, what's interesting is that we have more ground traffic in these parking spots, which is cool. So let's go ahead and pick general options, do traffic, and play around with ground parking. And we're going to see whether or not we can influence airplanes to show up. I might have to play with traffic as well. I wish there was a way to refresh it more quickly. Real-time online, AI offline, AI traffic density. We're going to do ground aircraft density back up to 100. And that should be all I need to do. It's the infamous front loader. Now, is it possible that we made these parking spots too small? I wonder. I wonder what would happen. I wonder what would happen if we actually changed them to be 6 meters instead of 5. Because I thought there were airplanes small enough to fit that designation. But we're going to find out real quick. We're going to reload the airport and we're going to change it to 6. Yeah, apparently this front loader has a bit of a story behind it as well. So, you know, it's like, beware the front loader. Okay, these are 5s. I might change them to be 6s because apparently we didn't get GA aircraft spawning in. Let's change that. Alright, let's see if we can do this quickly. Property 6 meters. And let's paint this again so that we can see whether or not that changes where the start position is. It does change where the start position is. Now we're going to have to move this a bit more forward. Or, excuse me, a bit more further back. But I have a general idea of how to test this, and I'm going to just run and gun it really fast. Because I don't want to, turn the center line on, turn it back off, turn it back on, turn it back off. That's going to take my time. I don't want to do that. Because Digi is lazy, in case you didn't know. Digi is quite lazy. Not all the time, but sometimes I just don't want to be bothered. Alright, we're going to change it from 5s to 6s. And I think that might actually result in airplanes being generated, but I won't know until I save and reload the airport. Such is the way of the scenery developer. For all the FSim Studios and Fly Tampas and Vertical Sim Studios folks that are out there, mad props to you. Now that I am one of you, I understand the work required. It is not easy. Or, it is easy, but sometimes it's ridiculously tedious. Especially if you want your airport to look anywhere as good as it should be. And I must confess, I am not there yet. Hello, my friend. Welcome aboard Panagon. Glad to have you. We are back at it again with scenery development and Msfs, as one of my friends likes to put it online. And we are doing some tweaks to aircraft start positions, because I'm noticing that airplanes are not spawning in where I want them to, and I'm wondering if this is too small. I know that's too small, unless we're going to have RC aircraft, which will kind of be funny. But let's see what we can do to get this fixed. Only got a few more spots before I start testing, and then we're going to test it again. I do have a fairly extensive list of airports that I'd like to make, and it is going to come down to a few factors, whether or not I'm going to be able to do this consistently and reliably. I would like to do this more, not going to lie. This is something that just makes me feel nice, and it's something that I can legitimately say, hey, it's built, it exists. Okay, so now we have this built again. We're going to exit again, and then we're going to reload and see if the increased radius is going to allow us to do it. Considering that 7 meters is the next highest bump before you actually go to medium-sized spawn points, I hope that's all I needed to do. So, let's go ahead and try it again. We're going to try it again. Same airport, same idea, same flight conditions with the AI traffic. And let's try it again. Okay, so let's play around with parking positions. We'll turn AI off completely, and we'll turn ground aircraft density off totally, and that should be a kind of complete and utter reset. We have one person here walking around, which is kind of cool. I would have hoped that there would have been more people to handle pushbacks for GA aircraft, but maybe that only happens when you have a medium-sized GA airplane, because you figure the really small ones you can probably push around yourself if you tried. Now let's start bringing the AI traffic back in. Okay. AI offline. Traffic density is 100. Ground aircraft, which should be parked airplanes, is 100. We're going to save it. We're going to go back and resume. Nice. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Okay, so 6 is a very good number in terms of spawning in AI aircraft. Look at this beautiful Learjet. I don't think this is a 45. I think this is like a 35 or a 30. A 20. No, this is probably even smaller. This could be a 25D. I think these two are slightly different, which just makes this all the cooler. November 903 Lima Echo. That's great. Also, this is a medium-sized GA aircraft parking position, so I have to adjust the rest of them as well. Memes, I know. That's great, actually. This is a, I think this is a Q400, unless I missed my guess. I think there are smaller and larger variants of this aircraft, but I know it's not an ATR. I know it's a Q400, or at least it's a Q series. Yeah, 2.5s. I think these are 2.5s. I know this is a 2.5 because it's really small, and this is probably a 30 series. Could be a 3.1. By the way, I found out something ridiculous. There are Learjets in parts of the country for sale for less than what it would cost you to buy a sports car. So, if you're type rated, if you have the license, and if you're certified, you can ball on a budget. Just fantastic. Yeah, so these spots will definitely get swapped out for medium-sized spots. And let me see. Over here, we have what appear to be service traffic spots, which I might, in a sense, I might have parking spots that I use to spawn in that I might leave purposely small on, just so you can see the car types. But it's clear that you cannot have a GA parking spot smaller than 6 meters across. You can't. Oh, and by the way, hello. This will be a Gulfstream. A good looking Gulfstream as well. I suspect it's either a G4 or a G5. If you have the funds. And one more service spot is back here. No plane to spawn in though. Even though I put it to 100%. That's pretty cool. Folks, can I talk to you for a moment? I need to open up a little bit about what I've been feeling about this venture. I have checks wallet for 50 million. I have enjoyed the journey of learning more about scenery development, and I'm even selling an airport on Sim Market. I'm trying to figure out whether or not this is something that I'll be able to sustain. I'm growing it organically. I'm doing what I can with the time that I have between work and taking care of the important things. Priorities are priorities, so I am going to do my best to do as I should, as a man of God should. to take care of his family, to take care, bring home the bacon, and to do things like this to, spread some love to Twitch. I think with a certain degree of more or less regularity, I am debating removing the semi-retired status that I have as a Twitch streamer and streaming a little bit more each week. There are a couple of reasons for this. Believe it or not, I'm beginning to see more activity on the weekends. Of course, this time of year, some of you are probably planning to spend even more time with your family and friends. Some of you may even be in college and you're going to be going home for the winter break. So, as you can imagine, that's going to involve a lot more time being around people, going to parties, consuming lots of delicious donuts, as Aeroflyer has graciously demonstrated. So, I might be going into a different mode of operation for the next couple of months. Some of you have already seen my ASMR streams where I don't have my microphone turned on and all I'm doing is just streaming scenery dev. I might have one of those every week where I'm on and you kind of get to sit and look over my shoulder as I build sceneries like this. Kind of like a behind the glass door thing where you just see the way things work. I am thinking about doing a stream once a week on top of that where I chill with you guys for an hour or an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours, like I'm doing tonight, doing scenery dev. I'm trying to plan on doing a world flight this week while everybody's flying from place to place across the world. That's probably not going to be something I stream, though. It's just going to be something I do for fun. But the key takeaway from this, folks, is that I'm thinking about changing my stream schedule. I used to have an intro video that I played. I streamed once a week for a while on Sundays in the afternoon. But things have changed. And things may have changed in your life too, and that's fine. What I'm probably going to do, while I haven't decided exactly what days of the week I'm going to do this, I'm going to have one ASMR stream where it's just me doing design, no microphone, very little chat interaction, probably even less than I have been doing. One stream where I do chat and I show you some of the things that I do and some of the reasons why I do them. And maybe still keep a Sunday stream where all I do is either fly or drive a truck or maybe even play a completely different game, Art of Rally or something else. I'm not delving into variety streaming per se. I'm just saying I want to start getting a bit more back in front of people and encouraging people getting together and enjoying the stream more. And like always, your support of the channel, whether it's by saying hi, cheering a bit, offering up a sub, that's totally up to you. You can lurk if you want to, because the more viewers I have, whether or not they're doing anything to say hello, hey, why not? But at the same time, if it's just a few of you here saying hi, cracking jokes, tossing memes, and watching me either play it well or goof it up, that's appreciated as well. I do think that I'm going to be pushing to create more airports. And to do that, I feel like I have to get into a different frame of mind. And that means that the kind of time that I would normally spend doing things on stream, I'm probably going to compartmentalize so that you can see more of what I'm doing, but so that when it comes time to pass along knowledge, I can do that in such a way that I know I'm doing that on certain days, and on certain other days, if I am streaming, it's going to be, hey, let's crack on, let's get some really cool stuff done, you'll see me doing it, and then that'll be that. And then probably one stream a week where, again, like I said, I'm flying either an X-Plane 12, Msfs, B3D, some other sim, or some other game, having fun with everybody in chat. Thank you, Airflyer, and thank you, Two-Faced. I really appreciate the support of the community. My number one goal right now is to try to create something which is going to become sustainable. And that reminds me of something else. Everybody in chat, weigh in. Let me know what you think. GG's in chat or F's in chat, whether I should create a Patreon or a crowdsource based form of generating additional income. I've been back and forth on this for a while. I do not want to create a Patreon if it's something that no one's going to get a tangible benefit out of. And to be honest, this is just a feeler. You don't have to do any kind of response at all. I'm probably not going to create a Patreon this year if I choose to. It doesn't have to be a Patreon. It could be like a different form of support. But what I'm saying is I've debated doing that. And I guess I still have to do some homework and think about what some of the benefits would be of having an additional tier of subscription and support based on the idea of a Patreon. Like, if you're going to subscribe to, like, say, a Flight Sim of the Month club, you want to get some kind of kickback off of that. You want to get some kind of, like, I'm just throwing ideas out there, like a t-shirt or, Biscoff cookies or stuff like that. It's not something that I'm considering doing per se. This moved a bit, by the way. I was just checking if it was going to start a sentence. It's not something I'm doing to that point. I'm just saying I'm debating the idea of branching out. So I'm going to think about that. But the plans that I shared with you guys on stream tonight, that's probably going to be way more likely to occur going forward. Like this idea of saying, hey, the schedule is changing. I'm going to be changing the way I do things because I want to try to figure out how I'm going to be going with the Twitch channel going forward. And believe it or not, there was a point in time at which I even thought about stepping away from Twitch for a while. And that's because I got burnt out from flying. Now that I like flying a little bit more again, I'm going to treat it with a bit of measured restraint. Like I have been, one flight a week. Actually, I haven't been doing flights a week that commonly on stream anymore. But I'm going to have one opportunity to gather with everybody once a week, one opportunity to share what I'm doing, and one opportunity to just build quietly. But otherwise, that's basically where I'm at right now. I think what we're going to do is try to fix these spots on the north ramp and see if we can actually get them to behave. Because I'd like to see... Oh, nope, wrong way. I'd like to see more general aviation aircraft here. And while this is funny, and I like it, it's obviously not going to work well with the current parking state. So, let's reload the airport. Let's change the remaining parking spots. And then we're going to change the south parking spots as well, so they're all 6 meters across. And then essentially, we're going to hopefully have that set for today. Once the parking spots are fixed up, I'm probably going to call it a stream and do a raid of some kind if people are streaming. And there are people streaming. So I am most likely going to pick a World Flight streamer to raid to say hello to. You folks can also guide the raid as well, because I'm pretty sure Msfs UK is streaming right now. Also Velocity World Flight is streaming. And I think there are a couple of individual streamers that are also doing World Flight flights as well. So by all means, if you have an idea of where you'd like me to go once I'm wrapped up for the evening, let me know in chat, and we'll go pay them a visit. This will be me finishing this up for tonight. It's okay. Okay, so let's move these into place. These are These need to be fixed. Again, like I said, we're not focusing on perfection, we're just focusing on getting these to line up. Which gives me the ability to move more quickly. Also, folks, opinions on X-Plane 12? I've been flying it more, and I like it more. It's certainly not going to unseat Msfs for pure graphical prowess, but there is something about the beginning of a new story, flying a new sim, that grabs my attention and speaks to me. I don't know about you, but that's how I feel. So, here we go. Let's move these up. And that should fix... That should give rise for more aircraft appearing. And again, I don't think me changing the size of these parking spots is going to restrict you from spawning into them when you start in the world map. I just think it's going to restrict what AI aircraft will appear if you include parked aircraft as a part of your scenery rendering in the game, like I have been to test it. And there we are. That looks a lot neater than it was before. I'm probably going to make this a smaller spot since it's way back here. And that makes a lot more sense. And then we're going to take this spot. I might keep this a medium spot, but again, I don't want to have a Q400 spawn into here. So I'm probably going to make this a small spot and risk having a Learjet be here instead of a Q400. Okay, so that takes care of that spot, that takes care of that spot, at least I think it does. Yep, there we go. Those spots are fixed, they look a lot neater. Let's fix the size of these spots and get them done. That will conclude my airport editing for today. You'll be getting X-Plane 12 probably once it's fully released, and then you should have a better PC to run it and more storage. Yeah, and I think that's the ace in the hole for X-Plane. X-Plane has several aircraft, some of which are freeware, some of which are basically crowdsourced, some of which are payware, which essentially bring a higher level of aircraft fidelity to the sim. And I have the Flight Factor 757, and I'm actually looking forward to flying it once I get into a place where I'm like, yeah, I want to go do a 757 flight tonight. So that's what I'm going to be doing at some point in the not too distant future. But X-Plane 12 is going to woo people back, I think, by the sheer number of systems dense aircraft that it's had and will continue to have. And that's why I think it's still got plenty of skin in the game. So it's not down and out by any stretch of the imagination. It's not. Just a bit, folks. Bear back. All right. Almost done with this. Actually, I think we're done with all these parking spots in South Ramp. I can save this, I can re-render it, and I should be able to see that I can actually see aircraft spawned in. Whether or not MSFS will be happy with that, or happy with me, we'll see. Okay, it's built. Let's close it and load it one last time. I had planned on doing a little bit of Blender work. I might save that for my, I'm going to call it No Frills stream, so that I can actually just focus on rendering things and you'll see me doing things in Blender. So let's go ahead and pick a GA parking spot down here. And now let's see if my changes do anything. All right, let's play around. I'm not going to see the traffic right in front of me. It's going to be off to my side. Let's apply that. We do actually have a pushback tug or a carts. I think that's better. I don't know what the rules are for AI traffic spawning in, so I can't be sure how this works. But I'm going to try again. Okay. Ground aircraft density, that should be all I need to do. That's strange. Doesn't want to. It's okay. Also, you know what I can do? I can go to where the other aircraft are and double check and see whether or not my changes affected them. So let's go. Ooh, look at that. Clearly, I can tell something has happened because I saw a non-zero number of general aviation aircraft. Look at this. There we go. This is what I'm talking about. We have parked aircraft here, smaller aircraft. This is what you would expect to see at the airport. Maybe not so much of these guys, but definitely more of these guys. And we have a GA aircraft parked at the service terminal here, or service ramp. And we have an airport van parked here. Don't know why. They are. Okay. So, I'm kind of satisfied with that. We've really kind of learned some new things about the way that the parking spot system works. I haven't learned everything yet, but I can say, in terms of rendering AI aircraft that are in parked positions, we understand more of the rules. And also, the added bonus is that these aircraft look like they occupy the exact wingspan I was looking for. So I'm happy with that. This is very much a success for me. So I'm going to go ahead and take that as a win. Let me think. It's almost 10:30 here. I think the really good and healthy thing to do would probably be to call it and to go find a great stream to raid. We're probably going to... Just checking. I heard a cat jump. We're probably going to find somebody that's actually doing world flight right now and say, hey, do I use AIG for AI? Yes, I do. I have AIG AI Manager installed. I don't have the traffic injector running. I just use the models that I've installed for Msfs. And actually, I used to use the models from the downloader service, but then one day, one of my friends introduced me to the Super Mini 4 gig blast, which basically was a single file that had AIG model matching, which just like puffs up to about 40 gigs once you unpack it, and that's basically 80 to 90% of the model matching required for, say, VATSIM or for AI traffic. I kind of wish I would have kept the other one because I basically downloaded everything and anything I could get my hands on, but I haven't had major problems using AIG AI Manager with VATSIM flights. I haven't had so many planes that don't have model matching at all. So apparently it was a very good spread in terms of airplanes, liveries, and things like that. I haven't used a traffic manager and I haven't used FSLTL because I don't necessarily care about AI traffic too much, because usually I'm either flying with multiplayer traffic or VATSIM traffic. But that's my thing right now. Okay. All right, folks. Let me think about this. When's the next time that I'm going to stream? I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow. I might stream Thursday or Friday. Given some of the things I'm going to be doing over the next few days, I'm probably going to be streaming, if not tomorrow and if not Thursday, I'm probably going to be streaming again on Friday and Sunday. Expect to see a stream from me on Sunday around the kind of usual early to mid-afternoon time. I usually try to start them around 2:30 to 3 o'clock or 3:30 at the latest. And essentially, that one's going to be, I'm going to make those streams, the streams where I just like hop on and either do a very quick flight or kind of like do a nice flight or a nice game of something. But during the week, it's going to be like all business. We're either going to do the quiet streams, like the no frills streams, or we're going to have the kind of, hey, design with me stream where I'm showing you what I'm doing and some of the reasons why I'm doing what I am doing. So, frequency to be determined. For the moment, you're probably going to see me streaming at least twice a week on a fairly regular basis. Maybe the dates are going to be different each week, but I am going to be on probably twice a week. I'm going to shoot for 3 times a week. So, one no frills stream, one design with me stream, and one stream where we just kind of kick back and we say, hey, we've been doing this through the week, let's go ahead and chill, let's have some fun, let's kick back and talk about some of the things that matter to us in terms of the flight sim community and what's been going on lately. For now, oh, let me read this. FSLTL's benefit is ease of install. It lacks a lot of models. What? Oh, okay, so it doesn't have GA implemented. I wouldn't say AIG has a GA implemented, but I do know that AIG does have, I think, some small planes. Probably has some Dash 8s, some Dash 7s. Definitely has Q400s and probably smaller than that. It would be interesting if FSLTL and AIG merged. I'll tell you this much, I'm probably not going to be changing my model matching anytime soon. That much is a given. Alright, so folks, thank you so much for being patient with me today and for watching. I appreciate your patronage. I'm going to be sitting down and thinking about ways to move this channel forward in the future, in the near future. And I'm going to continue working on Plymouth Municipal Airport, which is Kilo Papa Yankee Mike, for my friend Eric Flight. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to learn a bit more about scenery development that I can use to apply to pending projects like, of course, Kissimmee, and future projects as well. Absolutely no one has tried doing a payware version of Philadelphia yet, and I might be the first one to try. And by Philadelphia, I mean Philly International, but I might do Philly Northeast as well. But for now, I'm learning and growing through maybe progressively larger airports, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to look at Twitch to see who who is on that we can say hello to. So, let me go to my channel. Should stay muted. Otherwise, I'm going to hear myself, which is really weird. And, okay, we've got Simfest. We've got Sim Caesar, who's flying right now, or would be. The Slant Whiskey. And we've also got Creepy Kirk flying. And we've got... who else? Oh, ho, ho. Folks, I think I know exactly what we're doing. We're going to go ahead and raid my friend, Pure Luck. So, let me set up the raid right now. Pure Luck has been on the mend. He's been sick for a little while, but he is pushing forward and providing flights and content for the community. One of my friends, one of my kind of like silent partners, if you will, on the scenery dev journey. So, let's go ahead and set up the raid and go say hi. Like I always like to say at the end of every stream, if you want to know peace, you need to know the Prince of Peace, and that is Jesus Christ. Take care, my friends. Have a great, great, great rest of your week. You might be seeing me either tomorrow or Thursday. Definitely, I'm assuming, definitely Friday, unless I'm doing something, and most definitely Sunday. Thank you, my friend. Really appreciate the support. Sit tight for the raid, folks. Let's go say hi to Pure Luck. Take care.
It's IT. I don't know. And by the way, I was actually part of. Oh, thank you, friendo. Aerofly, thank you for the follow. Hey, Digi, what's up, my friend? Aeroflyer, I've seen you around actually. I don't remember where. Oh, I've seen you in Canuck stream, I believe, right? Anyway, welcome, and thank you for the follow, friend. Hey, Digi, happy to see you. Digi has rated. Yeah, thank you so much, friend. Hope the stream went well. Did you design some cool sceneries? Hopefully you did. Canuck and D, nice to catch one of your. Thank you so much. Happy I see you in here. Sorry, by the way, I'm kind of struggling a little bit. I'm still recovering. My voice is all screwed up, but I was able to power through. Had to make a bunch of parking spots. There you go. I saw you do that a little bit the other day on your no mic stream, which seems tedious, like needed but tedious. Thank you so much, by the way. Oh, that's true. Hold on. Oh, yeah, that's an RNAV, right? Yes. All right. By the way, I still have those that link that you sent. Flipstar, I'm not sure if you're still here for the or is it? Yeah, I think that's Flipstar. Digi is officially out of semi-retirement. Yeah, it's getting complex, dude. I think I'm announcing it officially. Out of, as in you were flying? Or as in you're back streaming? I'm streaming more. There you go. Good news, friend. Good news. Playing more as well. Well, happy to gonna have to wait to catch those then. I'm still gonna wait. That's too high. Gonna wait at 11,000, and I know why now. By the way, that's here. It's kind of weird, but that's where you change it. So there you go. That's very strange. No, wait, that's the weirdest. Oh, load now. I don't know if I'm gonna see my warp speed cats are up to. Oh, I have a picture to show you actually. Speaking of cats, my parents sent me a funny picture of their cats. All right, let's get ready for the approach. Anybody who's actually new in the stream right now, who tried the new Navigraph and is as confused as I am? Oh, here we go. That is 870. Interesting. $870. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for the prediction, SG. In Thailand, I see part of the world I haven't ventured into Msfs yet. Yeah, you know what it is? Airflyer, what happened is I'm trying to get sceneries, but I wouldn't say refuse, but I really tried to catch the sales. And lately, there was a sale on, I believe 3 or 4 by Dominic Design, which are good. I don't think they're the best in the world, but I recommend them. And there was, I think I bought 2 or 3, probably 3 airports in Vietnam. So make a quick second. There you go. See, so what we did is we went from Macau to what is it, Hanoi, to Da Nang, to Ho Chi Minh, to Bangkok. That was in 2 streams, and today we're going Bangkok, Phuket, and then we'll go to Singapore, which I think is gonna be a bit longer, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't fly there a whole lot, but I'm really trying to do that more, and since I have more sceneries there, you know, that's kind of motivating, I guess. Same thing with South America, but South Africa as well. I want more in Africa. I have a lot in Morocco, which I fly often, but yeah. And definitely in India. See, nothing at all in India, not a single one. And I cannot find like really good recommendations for that, so drag required, really. Yeah, predictions, everyone. Yeah, actually I'm gonna do that. PTSP. PTSP. Here you go. Easy enough. So right now Amazon is on sale in accessible places that I know will fly down, like Phoenix. Like once Phoenix is out, my own base will be buying it and day one. Yeah, you know what? That's kind of why I said I try to. I bought what was it? I bought each row. On day one, I bought San Antonio on day one. I want to say I'm really trying not to do that, but I'm totally with you, Aeroflyer. In my case, I would love to see Montreal. But I'm not sure that's gonna happen anytime soon. I'm really hoping, but at this point, I don't know, man. All right, guys, we are going around. There you go. Thank you for participating, everyone. It's a struggle, especially when picture looks amazing. Yeah, I know, right? My pattern usually is, you know, there's some companies, I'm sure you're the same, but there's some companies I know I don't have to wait for a review. It doesn't matter. I know it's gonna be great. I can name many. Pirigi or Pyrig, I don't know how you're supposed to say that. In my opinion, is my top one forever. It's freaking amazing. They all their airports are just off the charts. Found some parked airplanes to see how they work. A couple of Learjet loaded. I'm looking forward to seeing the freeware or payware Learjet that's coming to Msfs. You know what? I don't think I've ever... No, that's not true. In the original, one of the old flight simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator, there was the jet was usually a Learjet. But dude, it's been a long time. Montreal would be, we wonder how long it takes to work on that. Montreal is way smaller than Toronto, so if they started to do that, and by the way, Flight Tampa is another in my probably top 5. If they release something, I know it's gonna be awesome. I don't think that I was never ever disappointed by Flight Tampa. But I have decided I will be building Mirabel. Oh really? Is that so? I need to not. Need to keep my voice down actually. Looking forward to that project. Oh, there you go, dude. Oh, then I'm gonna try to. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to, but I will. I swear to you, I will. I will try to get there at some point and take as many pictures as possible. I flew the Learjet a lot. Yeah, there you go. In what version? FS6 maybe? Maybe even 98 or something? Alright. Just give me a quick second. I'm doing too many things, as always. Okay. Long 3000, and it's... well, it's a bit windy, so let's do that. Let's do that. Hopefully that's gonna be fine. Let's go 0 and 100. Wait, what? Why did it do that? Oh, that's why. Because I'm below now. Weird. That would be a fun field to go into. Yep, believe me. And I'm by the way, you know, I will say it. I'm working for myself, to be honest. Digi. I'm more than happy actually as somebody who, you know, would actually be willing to work on Mirabel. You know, just like Aeroflyer said about Phoenix, like it's one of my... I saw that airport so many times and I flew out of it once, and I don't know. That's something special for me. We should do a field trip to Mirabel. Yeah, for sure, by the way, for sure. In a Dash 8 or something. That would be really cool. At some point. At some point. There'll probably be a trip because it's a shell of what it was envisioned to be. Yeah, for sure. And unfortunately, even like most of it is destroyed now. I'm guessing... I don't know, man. I'm guessing there's a way to... most probably online. I will try to do my best to to find some stuff online at least. It's not a shell of a shell, not that the terminal building is... Yeah, for sure. No, it's basically... And by the way, did you know, SG, that they closed one of the runways? Like a month ago or something like that? So there was 2 runways, there's now only 1. If you can help me with pics in the airport and data, I can guarantee you'll be getting promo early access. Ah, there you go. That's what I'm talking about, Digi. I told you, I'm working for myself as well. I'm very excited about that. Yeah, I heard about it. You know why they run me? No, I don't. I figured it's maintenance or something. Like they don't want to put money into it. But I don't know. I have no idea. Do you know? Is that what you're saying? Where the freaking hell am I? Dude, I'm way below. That's kind of weird. guess it's not the end of the world, but I don't. Yeah, exactly. No, I have a feeling. My guess, and again, that's just a guess. Oh crap! Well, that would do it. That's dumb. My guess is they're basically closing it slowly, and I've heard that apparently they started to tax like there are a bunch of aviation schools and stuff like that in Mirabel, and apparently they started to tax them like crazy. So basically they're pissed about that and all of that. So I have a feeling that instead of throwing them out, they're probably just, you know, people will get so pissed that they will leave eventually, and eventually will go, well, I guess we need to close it, nobody's going there and stuff. So they justify stuff. Whatever, like, very unique, isn't it? Isn't it? Oh, I love that cool. I was really looking forward to fly that one. It's Nuck Air. There's a couple of different colors, but look at that. The beak. Oh, that's so cool. And look at that logo. No, I was really hoping to fly that at some point, and that time has come. There you go. We're stuck at 4,000 for now, but it's happening. Let's slow down. I'm gonna go flaps 5. Okay, I'm able to go exactly where I'm supposed to. Am I a little late? 10, 15. No, I'm good. I'm good. Bag required. Yeah, how cool is that, dude? And yeah, I found check on flightsim.to. I got it there. Somebody made a pack with different colors. I don't know if all of them is like legit, but they look cool. And that I can think is similar. Yeah, true. Alright, here we go. Laps 10. That's fine. Oh boy, forgot about that. Let's go. Close that. There you go. Very much balanced. And there we go. Well. Oh, there you go. On the way right there. Oh, baby. What day are we? Always forget. We're Tuesday. Alright, got it. See you back in a bit. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for stopping by no matter what, Aeroflyer. And thank you for the follow. Alright, 10. So let's do it. Gears down. 15. Or 15. And there you go, we're following that. Just need to make sure that our QNH is correct, which it is. I didn't even check, that's kind of dumb. Look at traffic, Nuck Air 121, landing runway 09 via RNAV, Zulu. 10 miles. Okay. Lake Nice cereal. You know what happened, Digi? Swear to God, that's the truth. You know, 2 days ago I streamed. 2 days? Yeah, 2 days ago I streamed, and you were talking about hot cocoa. Well, yesterday I made some, and I think I didn't drink that in, no joke, probably more than 10 years. I truly don't remember when was the last time. Oh, see, it was like a little glitch here. Interesting. And that was worth it, baby. Hot milk and stuff. Ooh. All right. Look at that approach, dude. Okay, that's not loaded yet. Yeah, we have a custom scenery. I'm trying to remember. Hold on. Oh, did I lose my link again? I think I did. Yeah, I did. Oh well. Oh, right there. We're coming in. That's 30. I believe that's what I set. Good. The reason why I did that is because I had like exactly wind